spitting it this week.
Oare de ce vor să se întoarcă în Uniunea Europeană?
Haideți să întrebăm.
It's off the radar, my words are out your minds. My flow is kicking doors in like the raid of the police at night. I bruise your halos, I'm the beater of your wife. Back into the corner, pitch black comes the slaughter. In fact, time is shorter. In that sense, it's awkward in between, back and forward. The meantime is sort of thought it's something that is sort often smashed and broken open. I'm coming in here with a fast right flow, unsigned now and nobody knows. I'm putting beats in hospitals, breaking legs and stomping toes.
These days the roads are cold and rolling home. I'm older now, I know my soul is grown. I've lost friends and the ones and those unknown. My heart is ice, still tempted though. These days the roads are cold and rolling home. I'm older now, I know my soul is grown. I've lost friends and ones and those unknown. My breath is frost from my world with snow.
Milky past the Milky Way, I'm bulletproof, they ricochet. I'm coming at you and I'm here to stay. Got rhymes galore and I get to say whatever I want, when I want. Chunky cheeky, it's all good fun, sneakily.
Salut, Romania! After Brexit, food prices have gone up. Bills have gone up and the cost of travel has gone up. Everything has gone up after Brexit. It's more expensive across the line.
In terms of the living cost and taxes, Brexit is now recognized as being a key contributor to the cost of living crisis in Britain, with the average citizen being nearly £2,000 per year worse off than prior to Brexit. And the increase in the rental prices and bills are as a result of increased demand and limited supply.
Yeah, the Brexit has, I think, accelerated the issues, of course, but the cost of living is now a global thing. It isn't just down to Brexit. Europe's in debt, the world's in debt, Japan, China, all in debt, so it's difficult to split the two up, to be honest.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. I'm a production coordinator in the TV industry in Scotland. I've definitely noticed changes in the cost of living here since Brexit. I think the one that seems to affect us most is food bills, which just seems to be going up, and even the cheap shops just aren't cheap anymore.
Hello, I'm Marcel. I'm originally from Brazil, but been living in the UK for the last 10 years. And answering the questions about the cost of living crisis, yeah, I think definitely a lot of things got very expensive in the last 3-4 years. I think especially things like housing, like rent and mortgage, and also electricity bills. I think like for electricity bill things got like 2-3 times more expensive. That also impact the other things like food. So I would say, yeah, for my daily expenses, a lot of things got much more expensive in the last 3-4 years.
A lot, and especially petrol as well, because we can't get it as easily as
fruit and vegetables have gone down, fish has gone down, everything else skyrocketed.
In terms of cost of living, yes, prices went up as a result of higher import costs, which meant more British people were worse off compared to pre-Brexit era. The decline in openness of the British economy after Brexit and the reduction in workforce coming from Europe have affected businesses. In other words, less workers, less productivity.
Price of bills have just gone right up, from electricity to food shopping, and it's been really challenging for my family with the increased cost of living at the moment.
Hi, I'm Emily. I work as a project manager for Bank of Ireland. I'm from Belfast, and I've been working in collections and recoveries, but now I work in change. It's all gone up. It's also really difficult to get hold of things because shipping can't get over the sea, so it means what's there is really expensive. The price of oils just increased, so
I would say from my own personal experience, the cost of living has slightly increased. I've noticed that especially just in the food shop and everyday life expenses, but I would say from my perspective, being away from Northern Ireland the last few years and only really getting into renting recently, I've not really had that much of a comparison to before Brexit. The housing rates have really increased in the UK generally, so I have changed my expectations to not really expect to buy a house myself in the UK.
No, Britons cannot study, travel or live in the EU easily anymore. I'm a filmmaker and it's meant that a lot of work that I used to get I can't get anymore because it's too expensive to get the visa, too much hassle. So effectively I'm stuck on this little island called the UK. Very sad, 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 sad.
In terms of Britain still being able to travel and work in the EU as easily as before, I don't think that is the case. They can't study and travel to the EU as easily as before due to Brexit. Individuals now require visas in order to travel that exceeds 90 days. And in order to study, British students will need to also obtain necessary visas and meet the requirements of the host country, which may include demonstrating funding and having a valid passport as well.
In regards to movements in Europe, yeah, well, obviously it is more difficult. Schengen visas, even for me now, to go and live or work in Germany or France or Spain. There are measures in place, hence the Schengen visa, but I think there are some changes there happening anyway. I don't think it's going to affect students so much because there obviously are things in place.
I don't think that British people can still work in the EU as easily as before. I've had a few friends and family members whose careers have been detrimentally affected by this, as well as friends originally from the EU who have an undue amount of stress as a result.
Regarding the second question, if it's hard for British people to go to Europe, I think I don't have much information, but I guess it's harder than before. I was aware that before a lot of British people used to go to Europe to study for like a semester or a year, for example. And I think most of those programs now, they don't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Still study, work or travel in the EU as easily as before?
I don't think travel has changed, but we can't study or live anymore without a visa. And before, all of the European universities didn't have tuition fees, so we could go there for free. Now we pay the international university.
Yeah.
I would say when you stop working, you could move to another European country and receive your pension from the UK government, and now you cannot. So,
in terms of working, I presume it isn't as easy. As a British citizen, I am now required to have a work visa if I want to work in an EU member country. And when it comes to traveling, I haven't seen any noticeable difficulties, as I only stay for 1 to 2 weeks each visit, and I didn't have any plan to do any further studies, so I cannot comment on that.
In Northern Ireland, it hasn't changed at all, but I know that for my friends up in Northern Ireland, it is much harder now to study in other EU.
It's a lot harder. Depends on which passport you've got, but for ones with a British passport, it's a lot tricky.
I would say that in the UK, a lot of the friends around me, my peer group, have really struggled to live abroad or to study abroad in just needing a visa for things that before we didn't need one for. And I personally found that myself in not being able to stay in Austria longer than 3 months without a visa, which before wouldn't have been the case.
If there was a referendum now, I would definitely vote to remain. I voted to remain the first time, as did most of Scotland. Remember, people of Romania, Scotland voted to stay. It was only England that voted to go, okay? Bear that in mind. With that in mind, I wish you goodbye and good luck.
If there was a new referendum, I will definitely vote to remain in the EU, as I have noticed over the years and experienced more negative rather than positive impact of Brexit on the people. Voting to remain in the EU would mean more job opportunities, more secure and prosperous country.
Voting. Again, if I was to vote again, I was all for remaining because of the advantages of of a united Europe.
And if there were a new vote, I would definitely choose to remain.
And regarding the third question, yeah, if there was a new referendum, I would definitely vote for the UK to go back to the European Union.
Referendum now, how would you vote? To remain in the EU or to leave?
Remain.
Remain.
Yeah.
It's much easier to remain in the EU.
Big fat lot.
Regarding a new referendum, I would definitely vote Remain. We are facing similar problems and challenges. Therefore, I think it would be very sensible to unify efforts and resources to find solutions. As they say, a problem shared is a problem halved.
I'm from Southern Ireland, so I don't vote on it. But if I was from Northern Ireland, I would have voted to stay, because it's better doing it together.
If I was voting again, I would vote to remain. It just makes life a lot simpler. It stops the tension between the north and the south, putting a border back in and across the sea.
If I was to vote again, I would vote to stay, as I think overall that is more beneficial to us as a nation, for our economy and our accessibility to Europe.
Older now, I know my soul is grown. I've lost friends, the ones and those unknown. My breath is frost from my world with snow.
A bit and flipping it, I'm spitting it, this wicked shit, I'm pouring a drink and sipping it. Lyrics to hear ventriloquist, I'm rapping about the wrong, snapping about the right side. My rapping is off the radar, my words are out your mind. My flow is kicking doors in like the raid of the police at night. I bruise your funny Caleb's, I'm...
Hello, I've just pulled over to the side of the road to answer your questions. I'm not professional, I barely know what I'm talking about, but here we go, I'll introduce myself. My name is Michael Mike Malenko, and it's Michael's hyped to meet you. You're asking my profession? Well, I'm almost like a teacher. I'm supporting young people in the UK, asylum seekers, with supported accommodation and in the ways that I can reach them. Some days I can teach them to be brave and not afraid, and to engage in games and play. Education, it always pays. I respect them every day, all the challenges in every way. I listen close so they know they're safe. I let them all have their say, but putting that away. Back to the question to today. Did Brexit leave a state? Can I live on minimum wage? The answer is one of two. There's no secret, only truth. I struggle with all of my bills, and I'm trying to keep a roof over my head. An event that was sent after we left, I think they meant to pretend that nothing changed when nothing ends. But it's hard to find a job. You found a job, well, it's hard to keep it. People rob and people steal, then glorify it in music. Some people are starving, some people are hungry, some people have money, some people have nothing. Some people they voted, some people did not. Some people did not get what they want. Some people are happy, some people are sad. Some people are irked, some people are mad. Some people abuse with people issues. Some people they use the banks for food. How did I vote? I voted to stay. Of course I did. A vote to remain, of course it is. A vote made in vain, no talking with. The joker insane. Those with no brain don't consider the change. I won't even name. Oh no, I've messed it up. Or did I? I did. It's never enough. The people don't trust. Yeah, we can travel. The government does. They watch us unravel and left us in dust. They watch us in shadow and charge us the sun. Create the issue and tax us in fees. They fake the news and fix salaries. They put us in lockdown and want us locked up. Sinking in sand and want us still stuck. So yes, that's all I have to say. I'm not political in any way. I'm just living from day to day, hand to mouth and pay to pay. And I'm still rapping. So my name is Mike Malenko, I'm from Manchester, UK. I am a music journalist and a support worker for young people in supported accommodation. Nice to meet you all. Have a good day.
Sper să nu trebuiască niciodată să votăm la un astfel de referendum, dar știu sigur ce aș vota.
Să rămânem în Uniunea Europeană.
They run relationships, they run fast from defaulting, the starting
These days the roads are cold, we're rolling home.